To welcome Chris Arps in. I don't have your theme music today, buddy. Do we? Do we? Wait.
Who is the man that would risk his neck for his brother, man? Shut.
I didn't want you to think that I was playing the If I Only Had a Brain thing for you, so I wanted to separate those incidents there.
You know, I wouldn't be insulted by that because that is my favorite. What's the name of the thing?
What? Theme song
from the movie.
From the Wizard of Oz.
That's my favorite.
That was my favorite song.
I love
I
that.
agree with you completely.
Earl Klugh did a nice jazz rendition of that a few years ago.
Did he really? I was always wanting Van Halen to cover it, but they never did.
Yeah, that's maybe the future. Greatest hits album.
Yeah, no kidding.
Greatest hits.
So what's going on?
Nothing. Just chilling. Just glad this election is over. I'm cautiously optimistic about some of the picks that President-elect Trump. Still hard to say that President-elect Trump has made. So I'm encouraged. I really am.
So I was before we get to the BBC interview you had to do. I had caller Daryl called in a few minutes ago, and Daryl says he's a conservative Republican, a businessman. He's African American. Told me before the election but he was a big Jeb Bush man.
Is that Daryl or his other brother Daryl?
No, this is just Daryl. And okay. Daryl might have a brother named Daryl. I don't know. But he called in and he told me that he's heard over all this and he's waiting to see what happens and he accepts Trump as his president. But, you know, Trump's not a conservative. And whenever I hear that argument, I think to myself, but we didn't have a conservative in this race. There wasn't a viable option of somebody with the C on their chest in this race, unless C stands for communist, but Bernie got beat in the primary. So there wasn't that option. And among the two options, we've gotten the better of the two options, in my opinion, in terms of at least getting some of the things that you believe in, like immigration reform. Sincere immigration reform and tax reform and things like that would have, and tax cuts that would have never happened under a Hillary Clinton presidency.
I was never expecting a conservative as president. I'm crossing my fingers that hopefully he will appoint a conservative justice, which I think he's going to probably make that announcement this week. I think he's going to do that to try to placate some of the fears that people have over this O'Bannon gentleman in the White House. Personally, I don't know anything about him. After Breitbart died, I stopped reading Breitbart, so I didn't know anything about the way the website has changed or anything about him. Trump is being pragmatic. I understand why he has them in there. You know, people are kind of leery about Priebus, an establishment guy as chief of staff. So he's in there to placate his rabid base supporters that there's going to be someone from the grassroots that are going to be watching. I get that. Rudy, as Secretary of State, I don't have a problem with that. Laura Ingraham, as you were saying, as press secretary, I like that. I mean, he's being pragmatic. I like it.
What's your reaction? Because I see a lot of people comment on your Facebook page, your social media page, who are African American, but who don't necessarily agree with you on your politics. There are a lot of people out there flying the flag that Steve Bannon is proof that Donald Trump is some sort of a extremist, white supremacist, racist supporter, and that this Bannon guy represents that because he worked for Breitbart. Where's this coming from?
I mean, I can see where people may have that impression of him.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen the headlines where one particular headline was about William Crystal, who runs Weekly Standard, called him a renegade Jew. That was, now, O'Bannon didn't write the headline. A Jewish writer, I heard, wrote that headline. But there's been headlines like that, and since he is the CEO of Breitbart, people automatically assume that he's running the thing from the top. So I could see where that sticks to him. But, you know, I'm like you. Let's go ahead and give this administration and give him a chance to see, you know, if he's a bad pick, we'll see that in the coming year, and he'll be changed out. I think what Trump is doing, and I texted you yesterday, I think he's setting up kind of an apprentice-style kind of thing between Priebus and O'Bannon to see who's going to be the alpha dog and is going to win that out.
Or Priebus may have gone into this with his eyes open and realized that they needed his skill set for part of this job, and they still needed Bannon's skill set for the other part of it,
It's
possible.
But if I was Priebus, though, I would be a little suspect of being the chief of staff, and there's a guy that has a co-equal job with me who can leak all kind of stuff to Breitbart about the inner workings of the White House to embarrass me. I mean, he's got that little extra advantage there.
Yeah, just like press secretary, I can't imagine that's a job that's going to be one where you'd get a whole lot of sleep the next few years.
I would take that. You were talking about why would Laura Ingraham take that job?
Right.
You know why I would take that job?
Why?
Because she already has a talk show right now. She already writes books. Can you imagine the book advance that she'll get if she stays there for 4 years for this historic one of a lifetime presidency? Can you imagine the book deal that she'll get?
Chris Arps, is it everything just really about money to you?
We're a capitalist society.
I'm just so surprised.
We're a capitalist society.
Get your head out of your butt. Focus on the real issues.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just teasing. You're right, though. I mean, think of the book deal.
Oh, huge.
I mean, look what it meant for the Clintons.
Yeah.
Set them on a trajectory to earn $260 million, right? Just that one little book deal.
Among other things.
Among other things. All right. Chris is in the studio. He's going to stick around with us. I'm going to get to your phone calls. I got a number of people who want to talk about Daryl's call just a few minutes ago and what he had to say about Donald Trump, and somebody want to know why he even let him on the air. I'll get to your phone call. I like Daryl. I like him. I can't help but to like him. I just think he's a little misdirected. I'll get to your phone calls here in a couple of minutes. 314-960.